This is the best animated movie of the year. Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to dance around it. This movie is friggin' phenomenal. And yes, I am filming this immediately after filming my Transformers Run review. Kind of funny, we got two animated robot movies coming out in the same month. But yeah, The Wild Robot is a fantastic movie. I really had a phenomenal time watching this movie. I was super excited for it when I saw the trailer, along with most people, and safe to say, it completely lived up to the hype. This is one of, if not the best DreamWorks movie ever. It is a fantastic movie. I am so glad I saw it, and you need to go see it too. But yeah, anyways, honestly, I could stop it there, but obviously I gotta go a bit more in depth. So, what is this movie about? Well, it's about this robot named Roz. I forget what the name actually stands for, but basically she's this helper robot that's designed to be sent to different places to help people with tasks and stuff, but her ship crashes and she winds up stranded on an island. There were a bunch of other robots with her, but she's the only one that's able to power on. So she goes around the island looking for people to help or whatever, but again, it's deserted, so all that's there is a bunch of animals. But again, she still tries to help them out anyway, but they all run away from her because they view her as a monster, which is understandable. I mean, she looks nothing like anything they've ever seen before, and accidentally caused quite a bit of damage when she showed up. But again, we'll go more into that later. But yeah, so eventually, though, she does manage to stick around, and through a very interesting loophole, which I find pretty creative, basically she just sits there for months on end, scanning her environments and translating what the animals can say, which is how she's able to understand them and talk with them, which, yeah, contrary to what some people thought from the first trailer, they thought it very much looked like this was going to be a silent film, but it's not. They do talk in here, but like I said, the way they actually explain it is pretty clever. I really like that. And so, basically, as she's looking around, though, she winds up finding a nest of eggs. However, there's only one that's actually still in there. Why? Yeah, I'm not gonna give it away, but it's pretty freaking dark. But anyway, the egg hatches into this little goose, but since Roz is the first thing the goose sees, he imprints on her and thinks she's his mother. She's not really sure how to handle this, but with assistance from this talking fox named Fink, as well as advice from a possum mother she finds out that she essentially needs to raise the goose. She needs to teach him how to eat, she needs to feed him, she needs to teach him how to swim, and most importantly, teach him how to fly by the end of fall, because, geese migrate. So, with the help of Fink, she begins to raise this goose, whom she names Brightbill, to help him learn to fly and get off the island. This is a very simple story, but it really works. Like I said, you almost immediately care about all of the characters. They're all super endearing, and both the main three of Roz, Brightbill, and Fink are all really likable, and it's crazy because at least two of them are definitely very easy to become annoying, but thankfully they don't. Both the writing for them, the voice acting, and their designs are all really good, and it makes all of these characters super charming. Roz is just such an endearing character. I really like her. She honestly might be one of my favorite protagonists in all of DreamWorks. Again, Fink could very easily be an annoying character, but he really does have a lot of charm to him, and Pedro Pascal gives a great vocal performance. Honestly, I didn't really know that was him. In fact, that's one thing I'm just gonna say right off the bat. The voice acting in this movie is fantastic. A lot of people complain about celebrity voice actors and stuff, but this is a movie that does it right, because they all give fantastic performances. Like I said, Pedro Pascal is really good, Lupita Nyong'o as Roz does a really good job, frickin' Mark Hamill and Catherine O'Hara in this movie, and again, both of them are great. The voice acting is just fantastic all across the board. And one of my favorite things about this movie is just you really see all of the characters grow over the course of the film. Not just the main three, but even then, you really see Roz grow more skilled as a mother. Fink really does start to care about both her and Brightbill. Brightbill himself, you literally see him grow up and over the course of the film, and again, it's really compelling, it's really interesting, but even the side characters really grow. Like, a lot of the other animals that they run into and stuff might seem unimportant or whatever, but they legit have arcs that they go through, and you really see them all come together at a certain point of the movie, which I really like. If you saw the trailer, you also know that this movie is absolutely gorgeous. This is genuinely one of the most beautiful animated movies I have ever seen. I mean, it is worth seeing in theaters alone just to look at it on the big screen. It is insanely beautiful, and it's such a unique art style, which I love. It just looks incredible, and I'm telling you, this movie better get some sort of award nominations for its score, because I got chills at multiple points in this movie. The soundtrack is just incredible. It is so freaking good. And while the story is very simple, this movie is also surprisingly really dark. Like, both in terms of, like, the tone and stuff, it does not shy away from how cruel nature can be and how most of the characters are in serious danger, and some characters even just straight up die, which is impressive. And this movie is also hilariously morbid. Like I said, it does not sugarcoat things. It is dark, it knows it's dark, and it's one of those movies that really pushes the PG rating, and I love it for that. I also really like how this movie, while it does have some cliches, much like How to Train Your Dragon, which was directed by the same guy, it really subverts them. Like I said, there's kind of a whole liar revealed thing that's been done a million times before, but what I really like it is most movies that do that cliche say that for like the last third or whatever, just so they can have the forced third act breakup, but this one doesn't. Not only does it feel really natural, but it happens like halfway through the movie. So like I said, it feels a lot more relevant to the story rather than just forced drama, which I really like, and it doesn't slow the movie down at all. Like I said, obviously it adds some tension between Roz and Bright Bill, but at the end of the day, you can tell they do still care about each other, and it makes the reconciliation feel that much better. There's also some really interesting allegories in here. Like I said, Roz is always seen as a monster, and it takes a long time for the other animals on the island to warm up to her, and I didn't realize this at first, but after speaking with some of my friends about it, I realized this is kind of supposed to be an allegory for like neurodivergent parents and stuff, and how they tend to raise their kids differently, especially since we see Bright Bill acting more like her versus like an actual goose, and I think that works really well. Like I said, it isn't beating you over the head with this kind of stuff. It's very subtle, but you can very easily read into it that way, which makes it very tasteful and very powerful too. I think it works great. It's also fairly unpredictable with its story. Like, there was one part where I'm like, okay, I guess we're approaching the end here and stuff, and then I checked the time and was like, oh no, we still have like 40 minutes left. We're only like 2/3 of the way into the movie. Like, there's a moment where you think it was gonna stop, but it keeps going, and I mean that in a good way. Like where it keeps going from there is legit really emotional, and just as important, if not more so, as the rest of the movie, which is great. I will say, though, there are a couple issues, mainly the last third or whatever. There's kind of a forced climax in here that I think was at least partially built up throughout the movie, but I think it just comes kind of out of nowhere. I don't know, maybe if it could have had a bit more build-up or a bit more development, it could work better, but I think it was just kind of, like, thrown in there at the last minute. Same thing with there's this, like, villain character that, like I said, we don't meet until, like, the last 30 minutes or so, which I feel like could have been interesting or at least charming, but we only really see her then, so she doesn't really get that much development and stuff. And I've seen some people say they were kind of mixed on the actual ending, which I won't give away, but I personally thought it worked. I thought it was done pretty well. Yeah, I think the explanation they gave was pretty solid. So yeah, all in all, this is an amazing movie, highly recommendation, and I really hope it wins Best Animated Feature. Like I said, I mean, Inside Out 2 was great and all, I did really like Transformers 1, but this movie is just so incredibly good, and I really hope it wins for no other reason than DreamWorks needs more wins, because they've only ever won twice, and one of them was movies they didn't fully make, they just co-produced and distributed. So yeah, I really hope this gets the attention it deserves. Like I said, it's been getting tons of acclaim from both critics and audiences, and it is fully warranted. This is such a good movie, and I didn't know until it came out that it was based on a book series, but honestly, I might try and look into reading the books now, because like I said, this is a fantastic movie. I'm really happy with what happened, and I really hope it gets a sequel and the love it deserves, because it is incredible and easily, like I said, one of the best movies I've seen this year so far. The Wild Robot is an easy 9 out of 10.